Alright, hey guys, Shoe Detector here. So in today's video, I wanted to do like updates on a couple of things from previous videos. So the first update that I wanted to give was for the Florida Hunt 10 metal detecting fundraiser that I went to a couple of weeks ago. It was done at the Soldiers Freedom Outdoors facility here in Florida. So in that video that I filmed of the actual event, at the end of it, I had said that I estimated that they raised between $8,000 and $15,000, and that was just kind of going off of like dummy math based on the number of people that were there, the number of items that were donated for the raffles and the drawings, all of that good stuff. So Greg Popolo, who put on the event, or who essentially organized the whole event, he left a comment on that video saying the amount that they actually raised from the event, and I was nowhere close. So he said they actually raised $24,000. That is amazing. I am beyond overjoyed to know that they raised that much just from this one event. So those funds go towards keeping Soldiers Freedom Outdoors active and running. As I mentioned in previous videos, they do essentially nature therapy for veterans and active duty service members. Soldiers Freedom Outdoors kind of lives by the saying of healing the hidden wounds of war. So thanks to everybody who attended the event, who donated to the event. They were able to raise $24,000 to keep things running. So thank you to everybody who was involved. So the next thing I wanted to touch on is more of a correction and not really like an update. So I wanted to correct something that I had said in a previous video regarding the Nokta double score. So in the video that I had to reshoot a couple of scenes because you couldn't see what I was doing on the screen, in that video, I had flubbed my words and I hadn't even realized I did it until somebody pointed it out to me, honestly. So when I first initially shot the footage, I had said that when you are hunting in beach mode, the double score defaults to multi-frequency, although you do have the option of hunting in single frequency or multi-frequency in other programs on the double score. When you are in beach mode, it defaults to multi-frequency and you cannot change that. So that is what I said in the initial filming of my video. So in the reshoot of the video, I had said, I switched it around. I had said that when you are in beach mode, it defaults to single frequency and you cannot change that. The reshoot is incorrect. So again, I hadn't realized that I flip-flopped my words until somebody pointed it out to me, but I did want to clarify it just in case there was any confusion or questions. So to clarify, while you can hunt in single frequency or multi-frequency with the Nokta double score, when you are in beach mode, it defaults to multi-frequency and you cannot change it to single frequency. So hopefully that clarifies things a little bit better. And if you have any questions about it, definitely leave it in the comment section down below. The next thing that I wanted to touch on involves my Nokta multi-cruiser and how it essentially died on me because the battery essentially vented and puffed up and got fat just like the Pillsbury Doughboy. So in the video that I filmed where I was replacing the battery with one that I bought online, heat detector had to be brought in because I don't know really how to do wiring things and I'm not an electrician. So I had heat detector come and help me to change out the connection from the old battery to put it on the new battery because the connections were not the same. So a bunch of comments that we got on that video were from people saying you should have soldered the wires on the connector to the new battery and that could be why the new battery wasn't working in the machine. So there were surprisingly a lot of comments saying that we should have soldered it instead of using the twisting of the wires and then using the heat shrink wrap on the connection. So heat detector pretty much insisted that I essentially put out like a correction, I guess if you will. So while it wasn't in the video, I do have footage, and I'll go ahead and include it in here so that y'all can see it. I do have footage where you can't see us, but you can hear us, where he asked, do you want to solder the wires? And I said, no, it's not a big deal. We'll just twist it and heat shrink it and it'll be fine. And he asked, like, are you sure you don't want to solder the wires? And I said, yes, it'll be fine, no big deal. So he wanted all of y'all to know that he wanted to solder the wires and I told him no. So don't blame him for doing it incorrectly, I guess. And just so y'all know I'm not making this up, here's the footage of him asking.
Oh, okay.
So, how pretty do you want it? Because you're going to be putting it on the internet, so I don't...
Yeah, well, I
do these.
No, because I don't know that it would... I mean, I'm fine just twisting it. I mean, right? Because it's a pretty thin wire.
Yeah, we could try to solder it. Solder
the
the two ends together.
Oh, no, that's extreme. I'm fine cutting it, shrinking wrap, and then sticking it in there.
Alright.
Yeah. No, I'm okay with that. I don't know. As you remember from the video, I replaced the battery in the Multi-Cruiser and I couldn't get it to work. I asked y'all, what I should do, what I should try, and there was a person that reached out to me. His name is Greg, and he is actually local here. So I'm in like the Tarpon Springs, Florida area. He is in Largo, Florida, which is like 30 minutes away from me. So Greg reached out to me. He kind of gave me a little bit of his background. Essentially, like, I don't know, he's smart with electricity and little tiny computer things. I'm not. So he reached out, he offered to look at my Multi-Cruiser and see if he could diagnose why it wasn't working, even with the new battery in it. So I was like, okay, why not? What's the worst that can happen? He's not gonna break it anymore, right? It's already broken. So I packed up my Multi-Cruiser, like just the head unit, and I mailed it down to him. And he looked at it and he found out what was wrong with it. So he was able to diagnose the problem and actually fixed it or correct the problem. And he sent the Multi-Cruiser back to me with a letter saying exactly what was wrong with it. And just so I don't get it wrong, I want to read to y'all what the problem was. So he said the faults were a shorted capacitor and a BQ24259 chip on the small board. So I'm sure some of y'all out there probably knows what that means. It's a little bit of gibberish to me, but that's what was wrong with it. The BQ chip and the capacitor is what was causing the Multi-Cruiser to not work, even with the new battery installed in it. So he replaced it and he sent it back to me, and I have the Multi-Cruiser back here. So now I have not plugged it into the coil, I've not plugged it in to charge it or anything yet, but he tested it before he sent it back to me, so he knows that it does work. So we're gonna go ahead and plug it into the coil, and then we're gonna turn it on. Or maybe I'll turn it on first and then plug it into the coil. I don't know, but we're gonna try it out and see if my Multi-Cruiser lives. And I did want to show y'all, so in Greg's letter, he attached, I guess, the old piece that went bad to show me how small it was, and I believe right next to it is an LED light, because he had told me how he works on like LED lights and how they're super teeny tiny. So I wanted to show you guys how small these pieces are. All right, so for comparison, I have a dime sitting next to what Greg attached to the letter. So you can see these teeny tiny little pieces here. Now I believe that chip kind of between the tinier piece and the dime is the part that went bad on my Multi-Cruiser, and then the little piece next to it, I believe, is one of the LED lights that Greg normally works on. So yeah, look at how teeny tiny these things are that are inside our metal detectors. All right, so I guess I'll start by turning on the Multi-Cruiser. Now I don't have anything plugged into it yet, but we're just gonna turn it on and see what it does. So I will hold it up to the camera so you guys can see it here. All right, so here is my Multi-Cruiser. Again, there's nothing plugged into it, and I'm just going to turn it on and we'll see if it lives. Oh my goodness, look at it go, it's alive. Oh my goodness. How awesome is that? Check that out, guys, it lives. All right, so I'm going to turn it off, and now we're going to attach a coil. I'm not gonna put it on the shaft or anything yet, but I am going to attach a coil, and then we'll just swing a coin over it and see if it like registers like it's supposed to. All right guys, so I attached the coil here. Now I just have it sitting like on my lap, the coil. And like I said, we're just gonna turn it on and we're going to swing a penny over. I grabbed a penny to swing it over and test it. Yes, I'm inside. Yes, there's probably a lot of stuff that's gonna cause interference and frequencies and whatnot, but I just wanna check it and see if it like registers metal. You know what I mean? All right, so I'm going to turn it on again. Okay. Now I'm not messing with any of the settings. Ah! I'm swinging the coin over top of it. So yeah, it's working. It is very loud, and I've not adjusted the volume or anything, but again, I've got my penny. Oh my gosh, it seems to be working like it's supposed to. I'm so excited. So I want to send a huge, big, giant thank you to Greg for, one, offering to even look at my multi-cruiser to see what was wrong with it, and two, actually fixing it and replacing the pieces that went bad on it. I am very appreciative of the amount of time and work and effort that you put into this little side project. So now that my cruiser lives, I had wanted to change the hardware on it because like some of the screws were kind of corroded, and I wanted to replace the push pins that let you adjust the length of the shaft. I wanted to replace those because they were super rusty and corroded. So I didn't purchase any of the replacement parts because it wasn't working. But now that my multi-cruiser is working, I can go ahead and get those replacement parts and get my cruiser like spiffied up and ready to go back out and do some metal detecting. So that is it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know there wasn't any metal detecting, but there were some things that I wanted to give you guys updates on, and I thought this would be a great time to do it. If you have any questions about today's video, you can go ahead and leave them in the comments section down below. If you liked today's video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel yet, please make sure you do so by hitting the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys later. I know, it's very, very loud. I know. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I know, it was very distracting. I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I know, I disturbed your nap. I'm sorry. I know. I'm very sorry. Go lay down.